Hey guys, just want to talk about the Infinity triggers a bit. Had a lot of questions on them. There's information out there. Some people, what I've noticed, are a little confused on exactly what's going on. You can order this two ways. You can order just the trigger, or three ways, I guess. You can order just the trigger, which is this nice fine fellow right here. These cool texture. You can order just an ignition kit. Now, just so you guys are aware, this ignition kit right here is out of one of these pistols. Both of my ignition kits are in there right now because I had to run the guns. But the ignition kit would be your hammer and strut, your sear spring, your disconnector, and your sear. So you would get those four parts. You can do just this if you want and keep your factory trigger. This drops in as well. Or you can order the whole kit. As far as price, I believe the trigger is running 70 or 80 bucks, depending on color option. The actual ignition kit is running about 220 or 230. So it's about a $300 trigger kit altogether. Once again, depends on your color options. The hammer you can choose. The hammer and trigger you can choose silver, black, blue, red, and then they do have some splatter patterns for the trigger itself. So with that said, is it a drop-in? Yes, if you have the tack grip texture from Staccato. Yes, it's a drop-in. The only thing that you have to do is you may have to adjust your sear spring for your grip safety. That's all, just to make sure your grip safety is working because it comes flat. So that's it. Only thing I had to do with my tack grip textures on this one, there were a couple plastic burrs that I just had to remove. As far as fitment, it dropped right in and was ready to go. They do offer this kit for the Prodigy as well, just the ignition kit. Don't believe they have a trigger that's running in it. Now, could you take a trigger and fit it to the Prodigy grip? Probably. Once I have mine back, I have a Prodigy, maybe I'll take it apart and see if the trigger fits, but I did have a custom trigger fit in that one already from Chambers, so I don't plan on changing it, but I could see if it fits in there. As far as the C2 grip or the Gen 2 grips as well, there's probably going to need to be some fitting. I know at least in my C2, the trigger was super tight trying to go in. So I do have my spare, and this one you can just mark up with a marker and put it in and see where it's rubbing and use that as kind of a guide to where to file. I did that on the C2, probably took me about 20 minutes or so. This is not running a full kit. This is running just a trigger, factory internals, because that's a carry gun for me. And I didn't want to change the trigger weight, which brings me to that. The XC and XL, those came in originally at 2.5 pounds. Currently, they're both sitting around 2 pounds on my trigger gauge. So it does lighten it just a little bit. It's going to be about a 2 pound ignition kit for you. Okay, so for the trigger from the Infinity, it's got a really nice checkered texture to it. I think it's one of the best textures to a flat face trigger or trigger that you can get for the 2011. The Atlas is very smooth. My only gripe with them is that it feels kind of loose, especially on these threads when it's in there. And when this was in my pistol, it was kind of loose as well in the grip as far as the shoe. I've noticed that on a couple of their builds that I've shot. And I personally don't like any unnecessary play. So not a bash on them, they make a nice gun, but you know, the Infinity trigger I found is a tighter fit and it just feels better. Like there's nothing unnecessary going on with that trigger when you pull it. So it's a great texture. The build quality is great. You can tell it's mounted to it. There's no coming off of it. This groove right here, just so you guys are aware, this is that groove for the pre-travel adjustment. You'll see the screw back here. So what you'll end up doing is you'll use a template. If this is what you want to do, you can use the template to tap your hole and put your little screw there, and then you can adjust the back of this trigger for the pre-travel. Personally, I like the pre-travel in my pistols. This kit for me is mostly about the flat face trigger with the texture. It's really nice, keeps your finger right in place. and the cleanness of the trigger pull itself. It's very crisp, and it does drop it to about 2 pounds. For me, that's the perfect trigger. Like, it's really good. I have a custom fit trigger and custom trigger job on my Prodigy from Joe Chambers, and I mean that's a beautiful trigger job as well. So I mean, I would say this is as close to, you know, a gunsmith fitting your trigger that you could possibly get without sending your gun out. So I highly recommend it. They build a very nice product over there at Infinity. One of the other things that has been asked of me is about the grip screws. These are all from Infinity. They drop right into the grip. There's no problem with it. Just make sure you use a little bit of Loctite. But yeah, so as far as the C2, there is some fitment needed. If you're running an old grip, you're going to need to fit it. Basically, you just need some hand files and take out some material. I use my silver trigger to find out where that was. Once again, you just mark it up with a black marker, and you can see where it's rubbing, and then you can take a little bit of material out. But if you have attack grip texture from Staccato, you're good to go. Only thing to watch out for that could be an issue for the older pistols from Staccato. So I would say anything before Staccato with attack grip texture, you need to be aware, or at least look at your grip safety. Your grip safety, when you take it out, where the safeties go through, there's a hole. At the edge, it could come to a point. If you have that point and it's not rounded, this kit may not work out of the box, because it may not let this hammer go down as much as it needs to for the slide to come back. As long as your grip safety is curved up there, it's good to go. And all of those grip safeties should be curved, especially with the tack grip texture. On the older Gen 2 models, I had an early C2 and another early Staccato pistol that had the point, and that can cause it to not work properly. So you might have to contact a gunsmith to make that repair or change to it in order to make that work. But if you're just going to run just the trigger, no issue. All you might have to do is, like I said, fit the older grips a little bit. Is it worth it? Yes, absolutely, 100%. My first kit, I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning of the video or not, was sent out to me by Infinity so I could try it out. Absolutely loved it. Bought 3 more triggers. So I bought another full kit and a couple just plain triggers for carry guns, and really love it. This one I did the green. You can see, I mean, it's a really cool pattern. I love the texture. The whole kit is in here, and they run good. I mean, no issues at all. Coming around 2 pounds. I've got about 1,000 rounds on this one, running great. Got a couple hundred rounds on this one because I just got it in, running great. Did about 100 rounds on the carry gun, running great. Love this trigger. I know if some of you guys follow me on social media, like IG, and I was on some of the Facebook groups, but I've left those. If you follow me, you know that I really like this trigger, and I've been telling everybody about it. I think it's the best option out there for the money. I think it might be like 10 bucks more than some of the other guys, but I think this is a better built trigger. Also, if you're doing the full kit, once again, I mean, if you're going to drop it in, this is the best option for your trigger job, I think, for 300 bucks. Otherwise, I mean, you can send it out to somebody to work it. That's cool if you want to, but I mean, if you have attack grip texture on one of these Staccatos, or you have a Prodigy and you just want the ignition kit, this will make your trigger a lot better. To me, the way it cleans it up, the way it breaks at the wall, it's just very nice. Shown a few people the trigger and they're pretty impressed with it. Quite a few guys that have shot my guns are planning on buying some of the kits, so just wanted to share it with you. Hopefully I covered all the questions. If you guys have more questions, drop them below. But yeah, I mean, I'm totally behind this one. This is a really cool upgrade. Personally, for me, I think it's a very useful upgrade versus, you know, like Cerakoting something or chopping it up, you know, but I mean, hey, it's up to you. The other thing I will say, there is nothing wrong with the stock Staccato trigger. It's a nice trigger. The Staccato trigger is still 100 times better than any striker gun. But if you want to make it better and you want to have a very clean, very nice trigger and a nice flat face to it, Infinity is the way to go. Like, I totally stand behind it. They've had great customer service. You know, I've called for some other parts. They always answer and helpful. As soon as I ordered the kit, you know, I talked to them about something on the color. They just said, you know, let them know if there was anything that, you know, I had a question about or if I ran into any issues, and I didn't. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you wanted to spend the money and upgrade your pistol, this is the best option. If you're doing a carry gun, you don't want to mess with your trigger weight, just a flat face is cool. You know, just swap it out. There's videos online on how to swap the parts and how to take these down, and how to put them back together. Or if you want to get that 2-pound trigger for one of your competition guns or something like that, or your range piece, that's it. I mean, I'm in love with these. I have a third kit that's actually, or another third or fourth full kit that I'm just ordering today. So I'll be putting these in just about all the Staccatos. I think it's a great upgrade. So if you guys have questions, let me know. You'll see me posting pictures and some videos on IG. Just go ahead and follow 9mm Slinger, or give this page a follow and subscribe. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you. Bye.